I saw you dancing light and heavy smoke. Have you fixed that treasured heart that's so broke? Here is a tape, follow me, give this a meaning. Do you wanna feel the rush when somebody is listening? Heaven is getting closer to the earth, and someday I'll set you free, I promise. There's no time to lose, the world is closing in, and we're still here. Do you wanna feel alive? We are alone, so what's the rush? Feeling like a dream. Who will we be crying for tonight? We lost but never found. Fear is not around. We can turn this world around. This will be the end of treason as we know it. This will be the death of anger, 'cause we won't show it. Here isn't safe, follow me, give this a meaning. Do you wanna feel the rush when somebody's listening? Heaven is getting closer to the earth, and someday I'll set you free, I promise. There's no time to lose, the world is closing in, and we're still here. We are alone, so what's the rush? Feeling like a dream. Who will we be crying for tonight? We lost but never found. Fear is not around. We can turn this world around.
What's up, Vape fam? Glad everybody came out. Trying to do this every Monday. Shooting for every Monday, 8 o'clock. And it'll kind of be one night we might go 4 hours, one night we might go an hour. Just depends on how much time I'm able to put towards it that particular Monday night. But today we're going to take a look at a couple of mech mods that I just got in. One of them, there we go, is the Desolator V4 from Tower Modz. When I got this thing and pulled it out, I was like, this thing is ridiculously teeny. The Vindicator 25, which is one I've always considered to be a pretty small mech mod, is just ridiculously larger than this thing is. The atomizer that comes with it, we'll take a look at it. I'm not going to build it up and use it. There is a build in here, but I'm not going to wick it up and use it. I'll tell you overall what I think, but in general, you're probably not going to use it much. And we'll get to why that is. It's extremely teeny. This thing fits basically 22, 24, or 25 millimeter atomizer. Anything larger than that, of course, going to look funky on it. Bottom fire, because it's so small, you got to kind of choke up on it. Otherwise, you're going to be firing it with your pinky. And yeah, a lot of people have said they really hate that about this one. But it seems like the atomizer is the biggest complaint. I was pretty shocked by how well this actually performs. We're going to build up the Dead Rabbit 3. It's one of the few atomizers that I have that I think might somewhat match up with this kind of blood red that I got going on. Or not even blood red. It's more like a, I don't even know. It's like a pastel, a dark pastel red. The camera really doesn't do justice to the actual color of it, but I dig the designs on it, dig the performance on it. So I'm pretty pumped to try a different atomizer and a different build on this one. This teeny, no juice well having atomizer that comes with it is ridiculously hard to get coils installed in, unless maybe you're going for just straight up Claptons, maybe even fused Claptons. Might be able to get in there. The post holes are just ridiculously teeny. We'll take a look at it on the up and close, and I'll show you guys a little bit more about why I don't like the atomizer, but I do like the actual mech mod itself. Gonna build up the Bonza Pro RDA. This was one when I got in, I was initially going to do a review for, along with the Blaze Dual RDA, but then was not able to give time to the channel, unfortunately. So it got away from me. So we're going to build it up tonight, and I'll tell you guys overall what I think about this RDA. Sure, if you've watched other people's reviews of this one, I'm a big fan of this RDA as well. Then we also have the Thundercloud and Infinite Modz Hyperion V2. This one is the limited one, the silver brass black version. And they sent along a couple of extra sleeves with it. I dig the look of this. I'm not sure if it's like electroplated silver over brass, or if it's some type of brass alloy that makes it look silver. I have not really been able to find any information on exactly what the difference on this one is. I'm assuming it's kind of silver plated brass, but I don't know that for sure. Hopefully figured out eventually. Got a smorgasbord for all this stuff we're about to build up. We're going to use some Licious flavors, basically kind of celebrate the fact that Licious is coming back. I'm anxious to try his new flavor, which is going to be Neapolitan ice cream. I was a little bummed because I watched Birdie's stream where he was talking about trying it, and it's got a little bit of cooling in it, and I was kind of bummed on that. Although Birdie was very much like, I don't mind it. It's not ridiculously cold, it's not heavy, so I'm still pumped to try it. All right, let's do a little bit of roll call here. Mongo, what's up, brother? Quilly, Nick, is it Sedeni? Steve, okay, here we go. Sorteal, my name is Steve. I'm a new subscriber watching you now. Hey, appreciate the subscription. Trying to do a lot more of this. I am going to do some standard reviews like I used to. The Hyperion 2, I'm definitely going to do a review of. I will probably not do one for the Desolator V4 just because it's been out for so long. But I also have the Bonza Pro RDA, and I am going to do a full, just standard video review for this one as well. I also have the Arcless from, was it Mech Baits? I have that mechanical mod on the way to me, the new copper, the Arcless 2.0 copper, I think is what it's called. And I'll do a full review for that one as well. And then Nick's newish RDA, the, what is it, the Reload R3 RDA. I'm pretty pumped about that one. Then they're also coming out with a single coil version I want to grab up. I'll do a review for that one as well. So hopefully, really hoping 2026 will have more rebuildables. 2025 started with not a whole lot going on, and then kind of the latter half of the year a bunch of stuff got released. I think Thundercloud is probably a big reason for that. I really dig Thundercloud just because they are like rebuildables. Let's pump them out. They're kind of like the cool version of Hellvape, I guess. Not the diss Hellvape at all, but you know their rep. Let's see, Cloud Chucker, what's going on, brother? I'm doing good. Health-wise, I'm doing pretty great. Coleman, what's going on? Really dig the first impressions on the Arcless. Yeah, I was pretty impressed, or actually what got me to go ahead and order the Arcless was Birdie's recommendation, kind of. He didn't really say, hey, you need to go get this, but, you know, he was not blown away, but, you know, he dug it. And so many mech mods getting released are, you know, kind of like this. They're 30 millimeters, all that jazz. 28s look good on them. Maybe a 25 if you got a beauty ring that pumps it up a little bit, but anything smaller than that, it's going to look weird on it. So I like having some smaller mechs that are 21-700, but I can slap a 25 or 24 millimeter atomizer. But the Desolator V4, you can slap a 22 on it, and it actually still looks pretty good, especially if the 22 has a beauty ring, something like the Nitrous or the Nitrous 23. Looks great on that. You can kind of match up the color, but if you've got the brass version of it or the black, no problems whatsoever. I could not get a hold of the black. They completely sold out. So the red was kind of my next best option. I'm not big on the way brass looks. Also, one thing I want to do, Birdie did a stream here recently. I think it was last Friday. And I was talking about this in chat, the 0X. And as far as the single battery Zero mods, 3D printed mech mods, to me, this one so far is the hardest hitting. And Birdie was kind of like, no way, the 01 silvered version, when he changed everything over to silver contacts and all that. And he said that Tony P, you know, the mastermind of Zero mods, agreed with him on that. So I had not tested the two in a while. I just remember when I did, 0X was hitting noticeably harder, not by a huge amount, but you could definitely tell it wasn't so close that, you know, could call it. It definitely seemed to hit harder. But we're going to go ahead, and I already have a build in here. It is a 0 point none of your business build, and we're going to wick it up and then vape it on this and then swap it over to the silvered 01, vape it on this and see which one hits harder. I figure that's just something we could kind of do. I'm curious about, maybe I was wrong, but I'm also curious maybe if it's just the ones that I have. So yeah, we'll see what's going on with that. I have the brass and black skull version of Hyperion V2 mech. They're gorgeous and hit hard. That's what Birdie was saying. Actually, let's take a look at this. Let me jump over to the up and close, because I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you why I was very hesitant about getting this mechanical mod. All right. So here is the Infinite Mods and Thundercloud. Probably shouldn't have shown that. But it was quick. It was quick, YouTube. I didn't mean to. So this is the new one, the silver, brass, black. And then this part right here was kind of what I was leery about. It's a Delrin section and threaded Delrin with metal. I don't like. You guys remember I did a Tower Mods mech mod review called the BMV3. It had a threaded Delrin section as part of it. I loved that mechanical mod until the threading on the Delrin section completely came away from the rest of the Delrin. And now the mech mod is absolutely useless. This one is a little bit different because the threading is on the inside. With the BMV3, it was all on the outside. Plus, they allow you to order extra ones, which is pretty much what sold me. I was like, okay, I can buy extra of these. I'll go ahead and order one of these up, especially when people like Birdie and others were saying, hey, this is a good mech. So I dig that. And I dig that it also comes, each one comes with the locking ring. I'll show you about that here in a minute. No kind of coating there, no protection on that, which is a little surprising. I mean, if I'm honest, that doesn't really matter too much to me. I'm pretty meticulous with my batteries, but it's just a little odd not to see it in a mech these days. So side fire, but you've got this little ring. Just got raised and lowered sections. Put the raised section underneath, and you can't fire it. Won't touch the metal. It almost does. I kind of don't trust it, if I'm honest, just because when I watched Bogan do this mech, it looked like it was touching the metal. And I'm pretty sure I can make it touch I can make it touch if I press it hard enough. Maybe I don't have it completely centered. Let's see. Yeah, I just didn't have it. I don't know. If I'm pressing on the very tip of it, I can make that touch even with this. So yeah, I mean, it's cool they tried something with a side fire. It's kind of the same thing that Tower Mods did with the BMV3, have a little ring that just stops the side fire bar from making contact. But with this one, I think if you accidentally pressed hard enough, you could still make contact. I don't know. I'll have to experiment with that. I just got this one in, so I have not used this at all. Today or tonight will be the first time I'm giving this a try. But I dig the way that it looks. It's smaller than I thought it was. I don't know why, but it is. I should have known. Just a side fire. Nothing going on there. But I really dig the way this one looks. I love the copper black as well. But that Delrin section kind of put me on the fence. And then when I found out you could get replacements and they released this version of it, I was like, all right, I'm going to grab one of those up. They actually sent along a different one, the Mystique sleeve. So the one that's on it is the Dark Rider sleeve. Probably shouldn't be showing all these. Try and keep the QR codes out of this. And then this one is, what is it, the Mystique sleeve. I don't know if I'll ever use this one unless I've just somehow wore out the other two. But it's cool. And then I think they have one that's just flat. Just the flat black Delrin sleeve. That's cool. They have different versions of it. Dig that. Do get a bunch of kind of extra stuff. But let me make sure I'm not going to move those. Try not to flash URLs and everything else. You get tool, extra screw, extra O-rings, and you get a polishing cloth with it, which I thought was kind of cool. You don't really see that too much anymore. Oh, pop this in first. So yeah, I'm anxious to try this one out. I think it looks like a winner. Hopefully. Everyone pretty much has said the thing performs great, so I'm not super worried about that. I think the Bonza Pro RDA will look really good on it. I've already kind of screwed it on there just to see, and I dig the combo. So yeah, Blaze looked pretty good on it as well, along with the Asgard Mini, the original one. I don't use the V2 too much, but I'm sure it would look just as good. All right, so yeah. We got that. We're going to build up the Bonza Pro right here. I'm actually going to take it out of here so I don't have to unscrew this little base while we're on the up and close. Just get it out of the way and ready to go. And then, yeah, like I said, we will also build up the Dead Rabbit 3. Show you which one I'm talking about. It's the red and black one. It's about the closest thing I had to somewhat match up with this. It's a brighter red, but pretty much the closest thing I have personally that I can match up with it. We're gonna put some in the Bonza Pro. We're gonna put some Twisted Timmy's coils in here. These are also 0. None your business, but they are the N990 Alien. So if you're familiar with Timmy's coils, you already know what the resistance is. But I've been on the fence about the Zero. Can't stand plastic as I'm always shattering bodies. And I've never broken one of his mods. The 3D printing is thick and it's done really well. I had issues with the original 01 because the top plate came off. Here, let's this. On the original, this was just completely round. There's a bolt on the inside, and that's just kind of how it was done. It's glued down as well, but on the original, when you would screw atomizers on and off, if you did it, I don't know. Tony said I tightened it too tight, but I don't really tighten my atomizers ridiculously tight on mech mods, especially 3D printed. I think the glue seal just came loose, and then that would cause it to turn, and the bolt would come off, and the whole thing fell apart. And while it's not a crazy pain in the ass to put back together, I did kind of have to sand the top to get all that glue off of there, re-glue it down, and then crank down on that bolt. Wasn't a big deal, but since then he's used these that have a flat side, so they can't turn at all. And I have had zero problems out of them since then. I'm really pumped for the 02. It looks like probably the best made mechanical mod that he's done so far. And that's saying a lot, because I mean, this one, I can't count how many times I've dropped it. Not a lot going on to it. Never cracked the body. Very, very secure, very thick. I have with like Voorhees Customs, I have cracked at least 2 of his. But with this one, now those were older. He does a lot more metal these days, I've noticed. But yeah, I don't have any issues with the 0 mods, at least since he changed that 510 top plate. But yeah, I'm pumped for the 02. My only issue with the 0X was it looked like a grenade. And you had that kind of mech mod back in the day. I don't even know. It might have been called the grenade. That definitely, I mean, it was done up to look like one. Most people got them in kind of that army green. Totally looked like a grenade. Yeah, and it looked a little bit too much like that to me. But it performs so well. Like this, to me, is the hardest hitting single battery mechanical mod that I own. Pretty much hands down. The 01 would be a close second, and the silver Ampere 21 would be right after that. See what else is going on in chat. And the original Hyperion I got at Expo from Oscar in plain silver. It's a banging mod. The original Hyperion was a damn good mod. I was going to order one of these, but I have another Hexome coming to add to the collection, so I have to wait on this one. Broken 2 snowcap mods in the last 3 months from shortfalls. Oh wow, snowcap? Huh. I haven't used Matterhorn in quite a while, but I love this one. I could almost see, was it like the avalanche? I could almost see the avalanche breaking. But the Matterhorn pretty solid. But that sucks, man, because they're not cheap. That's for sure. Not crazy expensive, but not cheap. All right. Trying to think what I want to do first. Actually, I want to show you guys how this performs. So let's wick up the Dead Rabbit 3 first. Pull that over here. I broke a Matterhorn and a Snowdrift. Damn. That's crazy. Trying to think. I know I've dropped the Matterhorn several times, but I think it was on like rugs. I don't think I've ever dropped it on like a hard surface. Also, the audio, is it okay? Like the last time when I did a stream, when I went back and rewatched it, I was like, oh, because basically where Windows has a volume to the mic itself has a volume, and then OBS has a volume. I thought it would stay the way it was from the last time I'd kind of been active in streaming, but that was not the case at all. So I had to adjust the various volumes. So I'm hoping it doesn't sound as distorted as last time. But let me know. So if it is a little bit, I can play with it some more. And of course, I'll rewatch a little bit of it to Still trying to knock all the rust off. All right. So yeah, Dead Rabbit 3. As I said, chose it because it somewhat matches up with that, at least a little bit. Build I've got in here comes out to 0.1. I think these are actually Coilology aliens. Oh. So hopefully I bend them. Nope. Go ahead. I'm going to dry fire them real quick. Oh no, these are lower than that. So I know what these are. These are 0.0, none of your, actually I don't care. These are 0.08. I've tried to stay on the whole. I'm not going to tell you what the resistance is when it's a resistance that I probably either shouldn't be doing, or, you know, some people get uppity about it being so low. But yeah, these are 0.08. These are Twisted Timmy's. Let that cool down since I knocked it all to hell. I'm going to use the BP Modz Pro Vape Cotton. Mainly because it's easy. I'm not a huge fan of this cotton. It kind of gets gunked up faster than almost any other. But it's easy. Love my Hydra and Axis from Infinite. Had the same issue with Delrin coupler on the Hydra. Yeah, I don't know. I think this one will be okay, but I'm not a fan of a mechanical mod having a threaded Delrin section. You want to have some type of sleeve that goes over top of metal, then I'm fine with that. Once you start putting threading on Delrin, I don't know about it. But came highly recommended, so we'll see. It might be too much cotton. And you might have to give me a break. It's been a minute since I have done builds and such on camera. It is not as easy as just doing it for yourself. I'm still vaping. If you guys saw the last live stream that I did on, what was it, Thursday? Where we built up the Dead Rabbit 4. I'm still vaping on that one. Still got it on the Bushido from Russian Custom Mods. I actually started taking it to work with me, and normally I don't take mechs to work. There for a long time I did. That was all I would take anywhere. I wasn't really messing with regulated mods at all. But figured it was safer and more economically wise to not do that. So I started taking regulated mods. Well, I started taking Boro, and then I gave up on Boro. I'm not a Boro person. I'm never going to be. I don't like restrictive direct lung or NTL enough to thoroughly enjoy Boro. So with coming back to YouTube, you're probably not going to see Boro bridges and Boro mod reviews. Never say never. Might be one that comes out that's just absolutely amazing at doing direct lung and will work great on a mechanical Boro. Maybe. All right. Actually, I'm going to use this other one. Liquid that we're going to use, Delicious Strawberry Swirl. I love this stuff. It is so good. Like I said, Delicious is back. I was worried that when all the craziness happened with Australia, that Delicious was just going to be gone. But did not turn out to be the case. Thankfully. And then I'm pumped to try the new Neapolitan ice cream flavor. And Birdie was pretty, Birdie dug it. And he's kind of like me. He does not like cooling. But even though it had a little bit there, he enjoyed it. I need to turn this way up. Dot muzzle by Reload is easily the only Boral style RDA I'll rock with confidence in direct lung. I have not tried the muzzle. Actually, I think that was out the last time I was like trying to vape Boro. But I was pretty much like, I'm already about done with Boro. Now what is it? The Atemporal from Damn Vape. I love that one. At the end there, before I just quit messing with Boro entirely, that was the only bridge I would use. And I could put a lower resistance coil in it and use it on a mech, and it still performed just as well, if not better. At least the dual airflow one that came with the Xeon Boro device. And that was pretty much the only regulated Boro device I was using as well. All right, I think that's good. Pop our top on here. All right, let's jump back up top. Vape on this for a little bit, make sure it's not going to short out on us, and also crank the wattage up. I'm a little, I don't know about this one. This might be too low. Yeah, it's 0.08. This might be a little too low for that little Desolator. Might get too hot too quick. It is T6 aluminum. Any of the colored ones are T6 aluminum, and then of course the brass ones are brass. Yeah, let's turn it up way more. That was at 75. So let's start out at, say, 105. Trip a little more. Doing good. A little bit too much airflow, for me at least. Go ahead, crank it up even more. Reached out to ModFog for info on getting Licious to distros here in the US. We'll be listing on our store soon. Nice. Yeah, I'm hoping that Twisted Timmy, because I'm pretty sure they still have a little bit of Licious left. I'm not sure. Last time I looked, they were not sold out, but hoping maybe they will also carry it. Oh man, that's good. It's not shorting out on me, so let's take a look real quick at this teeny little RDA that comes with the Desolator V4. Muzzle hits like an RDA, the only reason I use it. I had someone in the comments one time, I said something about the fact that I was not interested in Boro bridges or devices for a long time because I don't like MTL. And the dude was just like, that's what they're for, is for MTL. If you don't like MTL, just, why are you even messing with Boro? And I was like, well, there's been more direct lung, restricted direct lung come out. And he just was not happy with that. He thought Boro were MTL only, and he didn't know why companies were even trying. Okay, these are triple core fused Claptons, and they were an absolute battle to get in here. Probably should not have even tried them. You see how jammed in those holes they are? And I couldn't cut them cleanly, unfortunately. The screws on this are flathead and they are ridiculously shallow. I had to basically put my weight down on my little screwdriver to get those to tighten. There is no juice well, really, almost whatsoever to this. If you wick it like you kind of think you should, have real short wicks, just tuck them in down here. After a couple of pulls, that cotton is going to be dry. It dries out ridiculously fast. What I did the second time, and how I've been vaping it up until I pulled the wicks out today, is I overwicked it. So I had the wicks out maybe about that long, and I actually tucked them underneath the coil and even a little bit out this way. I was thinking at first, I was like, this is stupid. I'm going to end up melting that cotton and get a huge cotton hit. But it didn't actually happen. You could actually drip a lot more liquid in this as long as, you kind of didn't vape it dry before you dripped again. But it lets you hold a little bit more juice just because the cotton, more cotton was holding the juice. Never had a dry hit or cotton hit or anything like that. But yeah, this thing is ridiculous. It is made for teeny builds, probably more for 2.5 millimeter coils. And like I said, more like Claptons or maybe fused Claptons. Like I said, these are triple core, and it was tough getting them in there. It is like a teeny 25 millimeter version of the Andromeda, almost. Same kind of flat, short top style, same kind of airflow style. But yeah, this thing is the worst part of it. It doesn't even have a name. They just slap a serial number on it and say, there you go, it's the Desolator V4 RDA. But it's not very good. All right. I am going to put a battery in this one. I'm going to use a P50B first. Slap this on there and see how it looks. I thought when I saw pictures of this that it was more like the Hyperion, that in between all this design, which I love the design. There are I think 3 different designs for the Desolator V4, but this one I dug. But it looked like in the picture there was more black in between all kind of the whole design. But yeah, it's not the case at all. So black doesn't match up too crazy with it. Button's black, so it's a little bit better, I guess. That doesn't look horrible. That actually looks halfway decent. All right, P50B in orange, of course. Like I said, this is low. I don't know. Oh, there we go. All right, jump back up top, see how this does. So that's how I felt with the Andromeda RDA. Not enough room, but walls are tall. What's up, Birdie? I was just complaining about the Desolator 4. Little teeny RDA with no post holes and crappy screws. That's a lot better. I mean, I dig this setup right here. I like the performance out of the Desolator V4. I'm actually kind of a fan of T6 aluminum. The Chaos that I have is T6 aluminum. I've got another mech that's T6 aluminum. I cannot remember which one it is. So I don't mind it at all. It does get hot faster, kind of like stainless steel does. But because it's an aluminum alloy, it also dissipates the heat quicker than, say, stainless steel would. What's up, Cicero? So yeah, I dig the performance of this. I'm a little, like I said, I'm a little leery that this is going to get overly hot just because this build is so low. yeah, I dig that, and that does not look terrible at all. So it's definitely, the mech mod itself is a mech mod I will use. I enjoy the performance out of it. I like how small it is, just because I could use a 22 with it if I really wanted to. And there's not a lot of 21700 mechs out there where a 22 would actually look halfway decent. So yeah, I like it. I was shocked by how small it was. I gotta say, when I opened it, it came in this little zip up bag. When I opened it, I audibly laughed because of how small it was. I was not expecting it to be quite as teeny as it is, but it's grown on me. Probably mostly because the performance off of it is actually pretty decent. So yeah. All right, Birdie, I don't know how long you've been in here, but I'm going to do the test again between these two. After you said you and Tony thought the 01 hit harder than the 0X, I was like, man, I have to try it again. I compared them when I first got the 0X, and to me, it was, this one hit noticeably harder. Not ridiculously harder, but it was noticeable. So I don't know if it's mine, the two that I have, or what, but I'm going to give it a try again. Maybe it was just the atomizer last time. I don't know, but we're going to give it another go. All right. So let's see here. I guess the Bonza Pro is the next one that we're going to build up. I dig this atomizer. All right. But first, I want to vape on this. And with the Bonza, I'm actually going to mix up a recipe before we do any of that. I've got a berries and cream recipe that I released not too long ago on all the flavors. It had Flavor Arts Vienna cream. If you're not familiar with that flavor, it is absolutely disgusting unless you let it steep for at least a week. Longer is probably better with Vienna cream, but to me, it needs at least a week. I've heard some people say 3 to 5 days, and I don't know what they're talking about. It's still disgusting at the 5-day mark, but hey. So yeah, I changed the recipe around basically because I wanted to mix it up here on the live stream. And also, I don't think it had enough cream in it. And I did not want to pump Vienna cream too much higher because to me, once you do, it starts to get a little weird. So I changed Vienna cream and the other cream that's in it. I had SSA's ice cream, not vanilla ice cream, just ice cream. Swapped those two around. Well, I didn't swap them around. I got rid of both of them and used Jungle Flavors Bavarian cream and Wonder Flavors Vanilla Cream Extra, which I think is a better cream combo to go with kind of the more realistic berries I went with. But we'll get to that here in a minute, and I'll show you the recipe. Still vaping on the nitrous and the Armor S. It's a little weird to go from this, which, you know, is very low, to this, which is 0.15 at only 60 watts. This has that lemon drops recipe that I was talking about last time. That is just a monster of a recipe that unfortunately can't be changed. It has to be a monster or it just does not taste the same. So go ahead and mix up this berries and cream real quick. I'm not going to adjust the camera, so you're just going to have to trust me that I'm over here mixing and I'm putting the adequate amount in there. That I'd love Tahitian vanilla cream. That is an underrated cream. I do not know why it's not used more in recipes. That stuff is amazing. Probably because it's a little, I don't know. I guess it's a little light, but also mildly has a kind of vanilla spice going on. Can't get enough of that Bavarian cream. Use waffle cone sparingly to give it more body. Bavarian cream is What? Utilitarian as hell? Bavarian cream is like the save. It's the savior. If you mix up, you're new to mixing and you mix up something that you're like, this does not taste the way I thought it would. Dump a bunch of Bavarian cream in it. It will make it better. It will hide all the horrible that you just did. Especially TFA Bavarian cream. It's kind of the I'll cover whatever you just did wrong kind of cream. All right. So here's the berries and cream. Uses the new Flavora Huckleberry at 0.75. In the original version of this, that was at 1. Then Jungle Flavors Bavarian Cream at 3. Just pretty high, but I kind of had to because the berries and stuff really come through in this. One-on-one whipped cream at 1.5. I thought about trying SSA whipped cream, but I didn't really want a buttery note. I also initially thought about SSA's creme de la creme, but again, did not want a buttery note in this one. Then SSA's premium raspberry, which to me is hands down the best raspberry out there. Said it'll fix a flat tire. I think Bavarian cream by TFA might fix a flat tire. Then SSA premium strawberry, which is another one that I don't understand why it's not used more. I think maybe because it's a little weird. You got to kind of push it high if you really want it to come through. That's why in this, with mixing a bunch of other berries, it's at 3, and it's still kind of in the background. But then in certain other mixes, you could have it at 1.5%, and it comes through great. I did an all SSA strawberry ice cream, and I had premium strawberry in it at, I think maybe 2, which I think is lower than what it's generally used on all the flavors. And it kind of killed the ice cream note. I had to like go back and up ice cream vanilla by SSA to kind of get it over the top of what premium strawberry was doing. You have Flavora Alpine strawberry. I do, but I hate that flavor with a passion. That is the grossest strawberry that anyone has ever concocted. Sorry, Flavora, but it's nasty. I don't like it. It's just me. It's probably one of the strongest strawberries ever, but it's just not my taste. But I do have it, and I'm sad that I have it because even the 15 ml bottle that I have costs an arm and a leg for 15 mils of any flavoring. All right, blueberry, I went with VSO Blueberry Raw. To me, it's the best blueberry out there. If you're kind of, obviously, I'm kind of going more authentic berry with this one, or, you know, as close as you can get, I guess, in vape form with the premium raspberry, premium strawberry. Both berry kind of lean more towards authentic than they do artificial. None of these lean towards candy, and Blueberry Raw is as natural blueberry as you're going to find out there. Then the Wonder Flavors Vanilla Cream Extra. So yeah, I dig this whole thing, but I've only tried this once in this particular configuration of the recipe. I dug it, but yeah, we're going to see if I dig it at a higher milliliter count, because I mix it up at 10 mils, and I just know, for me at least, I'm going to mix up 30 this time. Sometimes I'll mix up a 10 mil of a particular recipe and then go back and say, okay, I'm going to mix up 60 mils of this time because the 10 mil was dope. And then mix up 30 mils, and I'm like, this tastes nothing like what I just mixed up. Which is why normally I use these as testers nowadays. These are 20 mil bottles, and I will mix it up at least at 20 mils because I'm not gonna, it's gonna change on me. I just know it will. There goes the liter of Birdie's Alpine Strawberry down the drain. A liter? Would that cost you $500 US? That flavor is ridiculously expensive. Okay, so we need Bavarian cream at 0.09. Sorry, I don't have the camera on here or on the scale. But, you know. Right on the money. Don't believe I've ever had eyes on my last purchase was from my Freedom Smokes in 2014. For what? Flavorings? I bought Nick from them a couple of times. VSO Blueberry Raw. 0.75. If anybody's new to mixing and they're like, what in the hell is a raw? It just means it's not mixed with PG. It's just the flavoring, just raw. Just no PG to suspend the flavoring in. VSO's raws are a little weird because normally you get a raw from another company and you're going to use it ridiculously low, like 0.25%, if not less. But VSO, where even their original ones, you had to kind of use it. Their blueberry, you had to use it like 8 to 10%, if not more. So even when he came out with the raws, they were more like kind of everyone else's flavors where you had to use them more at like 2%, 2.5%. He does have some raws that are like, don't go above 1. But most of them, you're kind of in that space of you need to go higher with them than you would think for a raw. Now, Flavora Huckleberry 0.23. This is a really good Huckleberry. BSO also has a Huckleberry that is better than this one, but I don't have the Huckleberry Raw at the moment. And I tested this one recently. It's part of their new releases from Flavora. It's really good. It's pretty damn close to BSO Huckleberry. There we go. Well, I think sometimes this scale pisses me off. It'll tell me what the weight is. Say in this case, it's 0.21. And I put another drop in there and it doesn't move. And then if I wait long enough, all of a sudden it'll go. If I put another drop in there, it'll jump to 0.25. And this is the LB501, which is a damn good scale. All right, premium raspberry. I'm going to flap my jaw too much and lose track where I'm at. 0.53. Buy medicine flower. Yeah, medicine flower is expensive. It's too expensive. And I don't know. The first time I ever bought medicine flower was the white chocolate because I love white chocolate. And everyone had said you need to try the medicine flower white chocolate. So I bought it. It was like $30 for 15 mils or whatever insanity it was. And it wasn't worth it. It just wasn't. The Flavora Flavor West combo I thought was a little bit better. And then you throw in BSO white chocolate and you don't even need that. All right, 0.53. Here we go. But now some people absolutely love medicine flower, especially some of their fruits. There we go. And premium strawberry. 0.9. Go in a little over. Nope, right on the money. Then vanilla cream extra 0.45. Medicine flower lemon is incredible. So is the dark vanilla. I've heard a lot about the lemon too. I've never tried the lemon because, like I said, I just was like, I'm not doing that again. But I have heard a ton of people say they love the lemon. I think you're the first person I've heard mention the dark vanilla. And finally, one-on-one whipped cream. I love this whipped cream. One-on-one is hit or miss, mostly miss. It is kind of mostly miss, I would say, but what they do have, it's kind of like if they get it right, they probably got it better than most everyone else. Whipped cream, they have the best whipped cream hands down. Cream milky undertones, one of the better creams, if not the best. Yeah, one-on-one sponge cake is great. One-on-one yellow cake is great. 0.45. A lot of their candies are really good. The lemon round candy is amazing. It's basically lemon heads in a bottle. Although it does have a bit of a lemon juice bite to it that kind of shouldn't be there, but it fades after a day or two. All right, and our quote unquote additive. There we go. Later, Birdie. PG. There's that. And BG is 22.7. I'm almost there, guys. All right. I think that did the trick. I will get away from this browser view. Shake this up. Mix with citric acid. And breathe out Tajin. Smells pretty damn good. All right, go ahead and build up this Bonza Pro. We're going to use some more of Twisted Timmy's coils. So if you're not familiar with this RDA, although I'd say most everybody is, take a look at it here. Thundercloud and a Vaping Bogan. I dig the drip tip, and normally I don't like this. I don't know what you call this. I think Smock used to call it, what, Cobra or something like that. But in this case, I actually like it because it kind of matches up a little bit. Problem I have with it is how much it sits up off the RDA. And I can't seem to get it to go all the way down. Just does not want to. I don't know if anybody else has that issue, but I definitely do. I can try and take it off. I put it back on. It just does not want to go all the way down. It does not want to come off either. There we go. It's a decent looking drip tip. But yeah, just doesn't want to sit flush. But we're going to go ahead and use it for this one. Need flathead. The Bonza Pro has been a staple for me recently. Hits like a nitrous. Yeah, I like the design of the airflow because it's very nitrous-like. This can come out of here, and then it has a single coil one as well. I'm not going to pop it out at the moment because we're going to go dual coil. But yeah, it's like a 25 millimeter nitrous in a lot of ways. Deck, kind of, I don't know, it's kind of 4-post, postless, which I dig. It's very kind of nitrous as well. Might need a smaller one for this. Yeah. Back these out. I think that's good. I know a lot of people really dug this RDA. Which is kind of more than can be said for the original Bonza. Because it seemed like a lot of people said they liked it initially, and then later on down the road, there was a bunch of people that were kind of, I don't know, maybe it was just time. After enough time, people were like, yeah, this is really not as great as I thought it was. And that definitely happens. We're going to cut these at 5, I think. I think that ought to be good. These also come out to, like I said, I wasn't going to say low resistances, but why change now? I've always told you guys what it is. Just, I'll preface it by saying don't do this at home, kids. But these are 0.08 is what they should come out to. Looks pretty good. These flathead screws I actually don't mind. There's a lot out there that just will not catch. They're either too shallow or too wide, but these are actually pretty decent flathead screws for an RDA deck. Let's move that out of our way for a moment. And then, like I said, this will be the one we stick on the Hyperion V2. I'm very pumped to try. I was going to build this one up and the Bonza Pro RDA. And then we'd take a look at the Desolator V4. I was going to stick the Bonza Pro RDA on the Ampere 21. All that jazz. And then the Hyperion V2 came in today, which was sooner than I thought it was going to, which is nice. I think that's pretty good. So then once it came in, I was like, hell with that. Let's do that on the stream. You can tighten these a little bit more. Just because it's not quite coming out to where it should. And being Timmy's coils, that's a little weird. I think some of these aren't tight enough. There we go. Turn it down just a little bit. Just can't do RTAs. I'm always shattering glass. I'm not a big RTA person either, just because I'm such a flavor whore. And people have always told me there's RTAs out there that are as good flavor-wise, if not better, than RDAs. And the only couple that I found that actually do that are the Fatality M25 and the Fatality M25 Remastered. The original Blaze. I have not tried the new Blaze RTA, but I definitely want to. And that's about it. I really like the Profile X, but it's mesh, so it's a little different story. I've never been a big RTA fan just because, yeah, I'm such a flavor whore. But I still like trying them out. Sometimes I feel like I'm wasting money on RTAs because like there's a good chance I'm never going to use this thing again, but I want to check it out and see how it does. But now I kind of steer clear of buying RTAs that are more on the expensive side just because of that fact. I'm not going to pay $130 for an RTA that I might never use after kind of testing it out. Genuinely dig the Reload S RTA for the deck, but all the glass is gone. All right, there we go. Spot on the money at 0.08. Grab our BP Modz Pro Vape Cotton here. That's still, I mean, you guys are probably tired of me complaining about that name, but I don't know why they chose Pro Vape Cotton. Like, what is a Pro Vapor? There's not even cloud competitions hardly anymore, as governments around the world have tried to shut us down in every way they can think of. All right. I think that looks pretty good. Don't need a whole lot of wick with this one. And again, I'm not really big on raking cotton out too much anymore. This BP Modz Pro Vape Cotton especially, because to me, even though you can buy it in 3mm or 2.5, both are a little bit too thin to me. They're not quite thick enough. I dig them for how easy it is, but and it also gunks up quicker than, say, Cloud9 or a Moza or Puffwicks or Cotton Bacon. Any of the biggies, it's going to gunk up quicker than those. All right, for this one, I'm going to use one of my liquids. It is my whipped cheesecake. Dig this recipe. And if you're like, what in the hell is whipped cheesecake? In real life, I think it is a cheesecake that uses heavy whipping cream, and I think it has more sour cream to it. I remember right. As far as the recipe goes for this, it adds 3 different whipped creams to kind of a cheesecake combo, and it turns out extremely good. Okay, hang on. what's going on now? Our resistance is going haywire. So let's check this 510, which I'm going to need. Not that one. I'm going to need an Allen key. See what's going on now. Messed up my cotton a little bit. There we go. It was a little loose. It was nothing super crazy, but I guess it was enough to mess up the resistance. I kind of wondered because it was weird at first when I was dry firing them. It was saying it was higher than it should have been, resistance-wise. But then as I would have it reread it, it went back down to where it should be. So I thought everything was okay, but apparently not. There we go. All right. Come back up. Vape on this for a little bit. Make sure it's not going to blow up on us. Crank this wattage up. So yeah, it came out to 0.08 once we tighten that. And it hasn't jumped around so far. But the 510 pin did let me turn it at least one full turn. Yeah, this RDA is pretty much exactly a 25 millimeter nitrous. It has the same kind of flavor as far as it's going to give you everything out of a recipe that's in there. That's my biggest compliment I can give to the nitrous, is that no matter what the recipe is, you can taste every element from it. Certain flavors kind of get buried in certain RDAs because it just, I don't know, it just does not pump that through clearly enough. But Bonza Pro and the nitrous do that. This is kind of, the Bonza Pro for me is like a nitrous that you can stick on mech mods. You can put lower builds, there's more space, obviously being 25 millimeters, but it has that same kind of flavor pushing element to it. Always add a toner to cheesecakes to get a sharper bite on the cheese twang. This one uses 2 different cheesecakes, if I remember correctly. I haven't looked at the recipe in a minute. But it uses Yes Sweet Cheesecake from Inawera, which is pretty much the Konami code of cheesecake. And then also Perillam's Cheesecake Graham Crust, which I love. I used to use forever the TFA Cheesecake Graham Crust, but it's basically 90% graham crust and 10% cheesecake, whereas the Perillam's is more kind of 50-50 or maybe 60-40 crust to cheesecake. But I used the Yes Sweet Cheesecake in this pretty high. I want to say it's 4%. All right, actually, let's crank it up. I've got it at 100 watts, but let's do like 120. Make sure it's not going to jump around on us or give us a hard short, any of that jazz. All right, probably need to drip a little bit more. that I need to give those a look. The cheesecake ones, yeah. The Anywhere's Yes Sweet cheesecake, to me, is the best cheesecake flavor that's out there. And then if you're wanting, it doesn't have a whole lot of like the graham cracker crust to it at all. Like I love using it in if I'm going to do a cheesecake milkshake and I don't want any crust to the cheesecake. It's one of the few you can kind of go with that you're not going to get hardly any of that cheesecake crust. But if you're building a cheesecake, you need the crust, and Perillum's cheesecake graham crust is really good. But the Inawera has a lot of that kind of cheesy tang to it. A lot more than a lot of other cheesecakes that are out there. All right. It's not screaming at me or anything like that. So let's go ahead and bust this Hyperion out. Swap it over. Then we'll take a look. Actually, I want to use the beauty ring on it. My biggest complaint with this beauty ring is it does not want to stay on the atomizer as you're screwing it down. So it likes to bounce around. So on mechs, it's not a big deal because you can just kind of do it upside down or sideways. But if you've just got it straight, it likes to shift around because it's so light. It's just a little teeny thing. You barely see it. Yeah, just barely there. But this actually looks pretty cool. I dig this. I wish that drip tip would go flush. I really do, but it kind of works with this at the moment. I'll find another one somewhere that I've got that will match up with this. Probably better than that one. But at the moment, we're going to stick with the floaty drip tip that it comes with. Grab a Molicel P50B out of this other battery bag. I'm going positive up, even though the venting's on the bottom. Don't yell at me. It's always go battery up, usually. Well, not always, but 90% of the time I'm going to go positive up. Tighten this up. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see how it performs. It performs damn good. Turn my airflow down just a little bit. No, airflow needs to be wide open. Got kind of a medium throw to it. It's not a long throw, but it's not a short throw either. That's the distance you got to push. And, you know, you're just kind of bending the bar down. I suppose you could take all this off and bend this a little bit if you wanted a shorter throw, but I'm not all about just bending this downward more. I'd be afraid over time if you adjust it too often or too much, you know, you're just going to cause a big weak spot here, possibly break it down the road. Who knows? So, but I don't mind the throw to it really at all. So yeah, I would say medium throw to it. It hits like a truck. I'm pretty surprised. Again, like I said, I don't know if this is like silver plated brass or if it's just made to look. I know it's made of brass, but I don't know if they've plated it with silver or what they've done. not a soft enough throw for you. Axis had a similar fire bar, but it became a pain. I don't know. It's definitely a good one if you like to just grab your mech like that, you know, kind of in your fist. There's someone that likes to do it with the tips of your fingers. I could see it becoming a bit of a pain. Which is normally the way I like to, is just with the tip of my finger. I don't mind this kind of throw, but yeah, I could see some people like, I don't want to press that much all the time. It hits hard. It's already getting hot up top a little bit. But also the RDA is getting hot, which would be my biggest complaint about the Bonza, is if you build low on it, it's going to get hot on you. If you build around 0.1, you're probably all right. If you start building lower than that, then yeah, it's going to get hot on you pretty quick. Somehow ended up knocking my teeth with that style of fire bar. Oh, doing this? That's what you're saying. I don't know. I've just never been big on that. Just the grip it, rip it. I don't know. It feels more comfortable to me to use my fingertips on it. That's pretty damn good. So far, I'm highly impressed with this. We'll see how long this little Delrin section lasts. Since the battery comes out this way, I don't have to take the whole base off. I think it'll be okay. But I will say this is going to be a mech mod that I'm going to be extra careful with. I mean, probably be extra careful with all mechanical mods, but I probably won't be taking this all the way apart very often. Desolator V5 hits hard. I have the brass. V5. Is that what this one is? I thought it was the V4. Is there a Desolator V5? Desolator V2, V4. This one is the V4. I don't know. I can't find anything on the Desolator V5. This was the newest one I knew of. And yeah, this one hits hard. Pretty hard. The brass, I'm sure, hits well, I don't know. If you look at straight difference between brass and aluminum, aluminum is more conductive. But this is T6 alloy, so yeah, it'll definitely get hot quicker than brass. I dig this a lot. I think I'm probably going to be using this quite a lot here for a while. I'm just worried about that Delrin section. The other tower mods, the BMV3 has soured me to Delrin sections. Let me move some of this stuff out of my way a little bit, because I'm going to wick up this Asgard 30mm on the 0X. And then we're going to compare. That mod is old. Only thing changed is it's not a collab. It's actually from Mexico and it was way better. I haven't seen that one. That's cool. All right. I'm going to swap this battery out yet again. We'll use a P50B. Don't worry, I'm going to take it off the mech too. It already has coils in it, but this is one we're going to do, but I'm going to take it off here and stick it on this other one. Plus, I want the battery to be fresh for our comparison here. Set that off to the side. And I think we're going to use Licious Lemon Tart for this one. Oh, get back up in there. There we go. Grab some more of our BP Modz Pro Vape Cotton. Yeah, I have not seen that Desolator V5. I'm going to have to hunt around for that one. Like I said, I've been burned so many times by Tower Mods that I initially was not going to get that one at all. I put thousands of rips on my brass Hyperion. Absolutely a solid mech. Yeah, so far. Yeah, so far so good. I dig it a lot. Ah, come on. Hyperion is so good. I'm buying a third one now in stainless. Yeah, I dig this one. Should be enough wick. Might be a little too much, actually. Oscar's original stuff, definitely a tier above, especially the Dama material he's dropping recently. It seems to be the way it's going at the moment. I don't know if it's just vapors are unwilling to buy higher end material at the moment, which is probably the case, especially here in the States. Because most of the manufacturers that use higher quality materials, you're going to have to deal with all our craziness that's going on right now with tariffs and the like. Although I gotta say, I didn't have too much problem with this one. I don't know if they shipped this within the US. I know they have a US office as far as the Hyperion, but almost anything else I've ordered from overseas comes with UPS or FedEx sending me a nice little message that I have to pay the tariff duty on it. All right. Grab our Licious Lemon Tart that I cannot hang on to for nothing throughout this stream. Knocked it over, knocking over the mod earlier. Don't know what's up with that. And I didn't dry fire these because I had already done it before the stream after I took the wicks out. Okay. I'm going to turn that way back down. Dig this atomizer, of course. It's one of, not huge on 30 millimeter atomizers. There's some exceptions to that. The Asgard 30 is an exception to that. The Drift Gen 2 from EDC Mods is an exception to that. And there's a couple other ones. All right. Let's jump back up top for the moment. Drip some more of this. And I'm going to crank the wattage up. Man, this lemon tart is good. The lemon in it is about perfect. Like as far as a dessert bakery kind of lemon that you would expect, spot on. Okay. It's cranked up in wattage. Plus I was using this before on the 0X here. So I'm not too worried about it. There we go. Drip some more, pulled the 01 out. If you've come to the stream late and you're like, what in the hell is this guy doing? I'm comparing the difference between the 0mod 0X and the 0mod 01. Both have full silver contacts, 99.99% pure silver. And the longest time, well, I've only compared these once. It was with the exact same atomizer, exactly what we're doing now. And the 0X definitely seemed to hit harder to me. Like it was noticeable. It wasn't blow it out of the water, but it was noticeable. And Birdman and Tony P, who run Zero Mods, disagree with me. They think the 01 hits harder. So now I'm like, I gotta retest and see what's up. So here we go. Pretty hard. All right, let's swap. Yeah, Vortex 30 millimeter. That's definitely one that I like a lot. Here we go. Make sure it's working. Yeah, no. The 0X hits harder. Like I said, by a noticeable difference. Now, it may just be the one I have, the 01 that I have. It is the silver version. The original one, which I have also, was in copper. All the contacts were copper. This one Tony sent me. I don't know if he sent it to me because he wanted me to try it, or he was felt bad that the other one kind of fell apart on me, which was probably more my doing than Tony's, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm going to take a look at this, take the battery out. Make sure it's not something I'm doing. No. Yeah, I don't know what that is. I think that's more my 01. something is off about it. I mean, it's making perfect flat contact there. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I do know the 0X that I have hits a lot harder. So yeah, Birdie, if you watch this replay, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if it's just my zero here, my 01 here, or what. But it's still a noticeable difference. Yeah, 0X hits hard. It's a little too hard, a little too much right there. Go back to the Hyperion that I know is not going to blow the back of my lungs out. Get some water going. Rocking my Kennedy 21, just waiting on my Kennedy 25 RDA. Kennedy 25, anything Kennedy. Like this, as far as copper goes, this one right here, the Ruby 21, I don't even know if I've got, I'm not going to pull that apart. I might have a disgusting build still sitting in there. This is the Ruby 21, so the Kennedy on top is part of the whole tube. You can't take this off. And copper wise, this is the hardest hitting copper mech that I own. And that one actually used to belong to Birdie. He sold it to me a couple of years ago. Neil Pitts, what's up, brother? Coil, thank you very much. It's good to be back. Still knocking the rust off a little bit here and there. Basically because I haven't done this in quite a while. But I'm glad that I'm kind of coming back and doing all this. It's a lot of fun. I will still do regular reviews here and there. It won't be kind of like last time, but every Monday, 8 o'clock, I'm going to do a live stream, be it hour and a half, 4 hours, just depends on what all I've got to talk about and flat my jaw about. This week, not a lot. I mean, we did build up Bonza Pro, took a look at the Hyperion V2, which I dig. Shocked I dig it, but I do. And I like all the extra stuff they kind of gave with it. You don't often see a polishing cloth come with a mech mod anymore. You kind of used to. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyed this one. I love the way that it looks. The whole skull design with the kind of black inlaid to it with the silver or whatever it is. I need to shoot them an email and say, hey, it's called silver brass black. I get the black is you're adding all the black into the engravings, but is it silver plated brass or is it brass made up to look like silver? It's 2:30 in the morning in Scotland. I'm in bed, unwell. Oh, you're with you well something and the typhoon. Mainly back into mech squonks at normal hours. I dig mech squonks as well. Actually, I was really considering getting another topside duel, just because I do not have the current one, the version 4 or whatever that it is. And yeah, I was pretty pumped to get one of those. Haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm sure I will. And yeah, I dig squonking a lot. Regulated squonking, I like it with mesh. I know like mesh is out of fashion nowadays, or if it ever was in fashion. But But I dig squonking with mesh. I really do. On a mech, no. But if I'm going to build up the profile, I'm probably going to stick it on the Pulse V2 squonker. Steve OCD, what's up? Says, hey, I caught you. I just got done streaming myself. Nice. Nicholas, what I thought it was plated with. What somebody else said too. But I haven't heard anything. I don't know. It very well could be. Steam Crave Dual Mesh RDA is great on dual cell squonk. Lasts all week. I've got that RDA. Might have to try that one. How about a triple battery? Like that. But it'd work good on that. Well, I don't know if it'll fit on that actually. I think that's like a 28 millimeter or something, isn't it? But I've got the SQ30. I could slap it on that and give it a try. Sorteal, I lost my leg last summer with infections. Binge watched vape stuff in your videos. So thankful for the channel. Hey, thanks you very much. I'm very sorry to hear that you lost a leg, man. That's rough, especially if it was from infection. I hate to hear that. I'm glad vape channels, things like that, have helped you through. If you were watching some of my stuff through that, I hope that helped, man. I really do. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine. So my brass, I vape at 0.06. That would work great. It's a 30 for sure. Okay. My buddy just sent me a third Defiant Designs. I like this one. I don't like the DS too much, but the TS, I don't know. I dig parallel. I'm not a big series vapor. Every once in a while, if I'm going to do series, I like it in a stacked tube. And so every once in a while, I'll build up like the 1111 Reborn in stack or, something along those lines. I also dig the Dreamer in stack, but I don't know. I like parallel better because, like, especially with that, because I can throw 3 18650s in there and it's going to last for a while before I have to swap those batteries out. One of the few mechs I probably wouldn't bat an eyelash at taking to work with me. I've got 3 of them, so who cares if I drop one of them? TS is more, I think TS is more comfortable too. The DS kind of feels weird in the hand. Only stack I still run is the Dreamer. It's damn good in stack. It really is. That and the Tarn Max, which to me, I think Tarn Max is kind of an underrated mech. Because when I got it, I was not expecting much out of it. I was like, "Ooh, hey, cheap mech. Let's check this out. Thunderhead Creations did this. Let's do it." Dude, that RDA sucks. No juice. Well, I never used my Brad RDA. Which one? What RDA? Oh, I'm always using the Siri. If you're talking about the Siri, yeah, I don't like the Siri at all. Always using the Siri RDA. Are you running it in dual or triple? Savage, what's going on? Sorry, I missed that one. What's going on, brother? Happy New Year. But yeah, the Siri I didn't like, but see, the Siri is not built well at all. I have 3 of them. The first 2 that I got, the center, I think it was the center coil post would bend. Both of them. Triple use for series builds and stuff with cotton. Yeah, that little center post would bend on me every single time. And the third one I got, it didn't do that, but it was not great. Something else was wrong with that one. It would jump around resistance whenever you tried to build it. Triple coil, dual coil, it was fine. Wasn't a huge fan of it, but it wasn't terrible by any stretch. But yeah, doing triple in it at all. Maybe I just got unlucky 3 times. I could never figure out why, if I tried to build on the last one, which did not have those leaning posts, why the resistance would jump around. No matter what build I put in it, check everything, it would still jump around on me. I picked up an old Kennedy 18650. Takes 24 millimeter RDA. Also a Council of Vapor Mech Pure Nostalgia. The 18650 Kennedy, that's definitely old school. The dual coil, I've always got voltage drop problems. Yeah, see, it's like weird. It's a, I don't know. I don't think it was the best design they could have done, or it's just poor. Or it's just poor build quality on that one. Which normally, like, I'm not somebody that knocks Hellvape for like their build quality. They've got plenty RDAs that I have that have lasted through hella beatings. That I'm watching you now on a super screen in my man cave while building my collection. A super screen. That's terrifying, man. If I'm like huge on your wall, that's horrifying. I'm sorry. Mine is the same as yours, but brass. Which one? I don't know which one you're talking about. Desolator or this. Or you might not be talking to me at all. Oh, I guess we could talk about the monstrosity recipe. I did say last live stream, I'll tell you why it became such a monster that it did. Then I'm probably going to have to call it after that. It's getting late. My kids are probably about to go to sleep, and they're not going to be able to sleep with me gabbing away. Let me find it here. Lemon drops. I have a copper Hyperion V2 that freaking rips. Yeah, I would imagine the copper, because this, you know, whatever the coating on it. Now, if the coating on it's silver, it's probably comparable to the copper. But if it's a nickel or something along those lines, then no. But yeah, this thing hits pretty damn hard. I'm shocked by how hard it hits. So yeah, I would imagine the copper even more so. I may, just because it's not crazy expensive, end up getting another one of these in copper if I can still get a hold of the copper black version. I don't like the straight ones, like that has no engraving to it whatsoever. I saw Vaping Bic had this one, but no engravings, just straight. And I don't like the look of it. It's kind of weird that I don't, but I don't. Even in copper or brass, I don't like the look of it. Has to have the engravings. Has to have the engravings or I'm out, all right? I don't know why, but it does. All right. Take a look at this one. It's a silver coating. Was looking at it earlier. That's what it says, it's silver, but I haven't seen. Did you see anywhere that it says it's like silver plated or a silver coating? Because that's what I thought. Why would you say it's silver brass? You know, there's a lot of companies that build something that's silver, but they also don't want to lead you to believe that it's like pure silver. So they'll say it's like silvered. Like EDC Modz did that with the Ampere 21. They had a silvered version because it was silver plated copper. Saw an Instagram post and it said it was silver coated. Cool. I could see it. It hits pretty damn hard. It hit way harder than I expected it to. I use my dot mod with mine. All right, let's see here. stainless mech is more polished than I expected. That's why I think it might actually be silver plated, but I don't know. All right, so this is my lemon drops recipe. It started out, I think I tried one of Wayne's Candy King's lemon drops clones, because I think everybody has tried one at some point or another. And yeah, it just, I don't know. Nobody can nail it. I don't know what they're doing at Candy King's, or if they're kind of, some companies have specialty flavors. Like they'll order from, I know Perillum is one that does this, where you can, as long as you're going to buy enough of it, and a company like Candy King's is going to do that. So they'll build whatever flavor you want. You tell them you want a particular type, what it needs to have, blah, 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 they'll do it. So I don't know if they've done that or what. But so tried Wayne's, didn't like it. It was nowhere close. And I've tried to clone it, and they were terrible. They were nowhere close to it. So I decided I was going to do a lemon drop candy recipe, but not try and clone Candy King's, and just see where I got. Plus, I wanted to use Capella's lemon drop, because at the time it was new, and I really liked it. So, well, it's a Capella flavor, so you kind of got to use it, 4 or 5% if it's going to be the star. I have the silver coated Ampere 21 stacked. Love that thing. Yeah, the Ampere 21 is still right now, hands down, my favorite mechanical mod ever made. Yeah, Perillum requires a minimum of 1 gallon now to buy any of their regular flavors direct. Yeah. And that sucks, because I really like Perillum's raspberry. Like, I've got their sour raspberry candy. I actually found a lady on eBay, of all places, that was selling flavorings, right? And selling flavorings and candy, like homemade candies that she makes. And I noticed in a picture she had a bunch of Perillum bottles. So I was like, hey, you don't happen to have sour raspberry candy, do you? And she was like, yeah, they're all 10 mils. And I was like, cool. How many do you have? And she was like, 25 that I'd be willing to part with. I was like, sold. Send them my way. How much? It was actually about the same as buying, a 250 would be back in the day of that particular flavor. But I love that flavor, and I love their regular raspberry, but I'm not going to buy a gallon of it. I would never use it all. All right. So anyway, I wanted to start with the lemon drop, and I started this out with lemon drop and One-on-One's lemon round candy, because by itself, lemon drop wasn't quite there as a lemon drop. It's a nice lemon candy, but doesn't have a lot of tartness to it overall. And lemon round candy has a shitload of that. Its only problem is it has a bit of a lemon juice kind of bite there on the end. When you mix it with lemon drop, kind of amplifies that a little bit. So I added the sweet tangerine at 0.5%, because I already knew from past experience, a little bit of sweet tangerine takes that lemon juice edge out of lemon round candy. It's kind of a cool trick if you like lemon round candy, but you don't want to wait a week for that to steep out of it. So yeah, did that, and it was still kind of like, it's not tart enough, and the lemon's a little off. So I added 0.5% of Flavor Express lemon. Love this lemon, one of the best out there. It's not my favorite. I know it's a ton of people's favorite lemon, that or medicine flower, like Birdie had said earlier. But I like Vape Train, or I guess their Impact flavors now. Their sour lemon I like better than FE lemon. Didn't use it here. I'm not really sure why I didn't try and use it here. I think because lemon drop and lemon round candy with that little bit of sweet tangerine was just so close already. Then the 0.5% of FE lemon kind of made the lemon about perfect for, a lemon drop candy, but wasn't tart enough. So I added sour ball candy. To me, like I see some recipes where somebody's used sour ball candy at like 1%. And I don't know, my thought process is you might as well just left that out because at 1%, it's not doing much to your recipe, if anything. I think to me, you have to use it at least at 2.5% to get the effect of what it's supposed to do. So that's what I tried. And still wasn't quite there. It didn't have that candy sheen that I wanted. So I tried the hard candy. And hard candy is one of those weird flavors where if you use too much of it, it's gonna barrel over it. It will mute some stuff, and then also that hard candy sheen will just be overpowering. So I only used it at 1/4%, and that's still a little high for that, in my opinion. I think probably like 0.15 would be better in most recipes, but in this case, it worked. It didn't mute anything, mainly because it's a lot of citrus flavors. So it's a little harder for it to mute those. So then after that, still wasn't tart enough for what I wasn't trying to go sour. Because I know that's years of trying, that is pretty much impossible to be fully sour. But I was trying the whole time not to use Lorian's tart and sour because I like that flavoring or that additive a lot, but not a lot of other people do. So I think it's just when you see a sour additive, a lot of mixers are just like, I'm not even going to try that because it's not going to be sour. I'm going to be disappointed, blah, blah, blah. But I added this in there to get more tartness to it. Plus I knew, tart and sour kind of turns anything you use it with into a candy. So I knew it would bolster that whole kind of hard candy sheen. So once I did that, it was pretty perfect. Now, in between that, I tried like tart and sour without the sour ball candy in there, just because those are kind of two additives and I didn't want to stack a bunch of additives. I tried tart and sour without the hard candy to see if tart and sour would give me that candy edge that I was looking for, but none of that worked. I had to have all of it to get the flavor that I was looking for. I almost didn't release it on all the flavors because I just knew most mixers were going to look at it and just be like, I'm not mixing that up. But I released it anyway. I was like, yeah, whatever. If there's somebody out there that ends up liking it, cool. So yeah, it's one of those, I think, even if you're a little hesitant, give it a try. You might find that you actually like it. Because I really dig it as far as a DIY lemon candy recipe. This is my favorite that I've ever come across. And yeah, and I tried to take those additives out. I really did. But yeah, just wasn't the same. What build did you put in this one? This one has 0.08 aliens in it. This one has 0.08 aliens in it. I thought it was 0.1. And then when I stuck it on there, I realized that those were the Timmy's aliens as well. This has 0.15 dual coil build, but at 0.15 aliens as well. What else have I been vaping on this? Has 0.08 SFCs in it. From, who are these from? Oh, Ohms coils. I dig this. I dig this setup a lot. The whole sidekick with the Drift Gen 2. I've been vaping a white chocolate pudding recipe of mine in that for a few days now. Really dig it. But yeah, that's kind of how that became the monstrosity it did. I really tried to not have so many kind of quote unquote additive flavors, but it didn't work. They had to be there or it wasn't going to taste the way I wanted it to, apparently. I might have been able to use some other lemon candy flavors to stop that, but yeah. It's kind of like Birdie said, don't argue with the result. Only flavor I don't have for that recipe is the lemon round candy. What could I sub? Oh, trying to think. Because lemon round candy is basically lemon heads in a bottle with a little bit of a lemon juice tinge to it. I would say the new TFA lemon candy, but it's not strong enough. Lemon candy flavor. Come on now. You could try Flavor Jungle's Ultimate Lemon. Probably close to that same percentage. You may not need the sweet tangerine if you do that. But like I said, anytime I take anything out of this, it completely changes the way it tastes. So if you're not interested in picking up the one-on-one lemon round candy, you might try Ultimate Lemon from Flavor Jungle or Jungle Flavor. That's another one I'm not sure about, and I've heard different things because like on all the flavors, I don't know. The way I understand it is the ultimate flavor. So like Ultimate Lemon, I've got this Ultimate Pink Burst that I just got in. I have not tried that one yet. Are listed as Flavor Jungle, but then you've got things like Bavarian Cream, that's Jungle Flavors, who makes it, which is a German company. The way I understand it, the same German company makes the ultimate flavors, but they're listed as Flavor Jungle everywhere else. So I don't know what that is. Yeah, Ultimate Lemon might be a good one to try. Oh, SSA's Natural Lemon, but you're going to want to use it low because Natural Lemon is potent. Potent is all hell. So like maybe try it start at 1/4%. It's that potent. And then if that's not enough, just kind of go up by 1/4% from there. But yeah, SSA's Natural Lemon might be a good one to try. Because it's also basically a lemon head in a bottle. Completely forgot about that flavor. You don't see it used a lot because it is so potent, but it's a damn good flavor. All right, guys. It is after 10. Appreciate that everyone came out. Next Monday, we will do this again. We will definitely build up the Bonza Pro RDA. We will also tackle the weird teeny monster that is the Andromeda Prime. Well, it's not teeny. I mean, it's a 28, but it's so short. So yeah, we'll try and slap a build in this one. I dig this RDA because the flavor off of it is absolutely amazing, especially for a 28. And then I was thinking about building up the Danny V2 Mini, just because I have not built it up in forever, and I love that RDA. We'll take a look at some other mech mods here and there. I will probably bust out the Ampere 21 for that one. Also, I will say, I don't think I'm allowed to say anything beyond 2026 EDC mods. Some of it will be through Times Vape, which did the Sidekick, at least one thing that I know of that's coming out. And then, but 2026 should be a pretty banger year, hopefully, for EDC mods. I really hope so. It's looking like it's going to be good for them. So yeah, I'm pumped. Pumped for that. Definitely good things coming. Thanks for jamming out. Don't build larger than 2.5 to avoid melting tip. Are you talking about this one? Yeah, I could see that. But we're going to throw some 3mm in it and see. We'll see if we melt the tip or not. All right, guys. That's it. I'm out of here. Thanks for hanging out. And thanks to everybody. Everybody has been very cool as far as me trying to come back and do live streams, eventually reviews. all that stuff. So thank you guys so much. I thought I'd try to come back and everybody's like, who's this guy? But you guys have been awesome. Really appreciate that. So yeah, next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, another live stream. And I'm going to try and get a review up, probably of that Hyperion V2 silvered version. We'll see if I get that up next week or not, but I'm going to give it the old college try. All right, guys, I will see all of you hopefully next Monday, 8 o'clock. Vape on, guys.
I saw you dancing like